How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to the Enclave. So the following video I recorded when I initially heard about the planned new bill. You will see in the following video that I'm quite upset. For those of you who are wondering why that is, it is not as simple as my life being in danger and the South African government wanting to prevent me from protecting myself. But for a lot of us in the firearms industry, this is our job. How can I be a firearm instructor if 90% of the business that you get as a firearm instructor is people applying for self-defense, basically competency training and things like that? It's going to absolutely cripple my business. As far as manufacturing ammunition, who am I going to be manufacturing ammunition for if no one is allowed to own a gun? So, yeah, for those of you who think that I might be overreacting or I might be, I don't know, taking things out of proportion or whatever the case may be, think about the government implementing a law that makes your job illegal, and then watch my video again and see if I overreact or if I make too much out of nothing. But anyway, I just wanted to put that disclaimer up there. I do personally believe this bill is an attack on every single South African citizen in one way, shape or form. So yeah, let's get into my pre-recorded little rant on this. Enjoy, I guess. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to the Enclave. Okay, so I sit here this morning rather upset and rather determined to make a change. I'm not too sure how I'm going to do it, or if it can even be done. But I truly believe that the ANC government is striving to take over South Africa before the 2024 elections. What makes me say that? Because it's quite a grand statement, I understand. Like, I do understand that what I am referring to will, and potentially, if you look at some of the evidence, is already the beginning of the single biggest genocide in human history. I truly believe that one way or another, be it through force, be it through litigation, be it through these amazing laws that they keep trying to pass, almost every week there's a new one, the ANC government is trying to claim your life and take your life, potentially. So the latest development is that they want to criminalize handguns. They want to make it impossible, literally, not virtually, literally impossible for a private citizen to own a weapon for self-defense. Be it a handgun, be it a semi-automatic a pump-action shotgun. You are not allowed to, or will not be allowed to, if this bill passes, be allowed to own those weapons. Self-defense will no longer be a valid reason to own a firearm in South Africa. Now, I have a few problems with that, as you can imagine. as everyone well knows by this point, I've been involved in crimes in this country numerous times. Some of which even visible on the channel. And yet, in the new South Africa that the ANC is trying to build, even someone like me, trained, educated, well skilled in the use of firearms, would not be allowed to own one to protect my own life. Now, in any other country in the world where the police forces were somewhat adequate, this may not be the end of the world. But as I'm sure a lot of you know, South Africa is not the country where you can rely 100% on the police force. In fact, you cannot rely on the police force, period. It is going to end badly. Like, I'm trying to be careful of what I say because I have a lot of things that I want to say that I think might actually be considered illegal. But we must not allow this to happen. Because the South African government is trying to pass laws to claim our intellectual property. For those of you who don't know, anything that is created in South Africa will soon belong to the ANC. And I have a pretty good thought process as to why they're doing that. So if you look at the case with the Central Firearms Registry and the SAPS in general, they ordered a system be created to basically manage all the admin and whatnot, be it in the Central Firearms Registry or in the SAPS buildings themselves. They then ran up a tab upwards of 100 million rand, which they then refused to pay. The company then said, cool, no problem. They changed a 1 to a 0 in the coding and it shut down the system. Which then put the South African government, the South African Police Service and the Central Firearms Registry in a rather shitty position where they actually had to do their work without this nice system that made it somewhat easier to do so. Which then resulted in the absolutely massive backlog that you see. They blame it on COVID. They blame it on all sorts of things. If you look into it, they lost their system due to theft. They tried to steal that system from the company who created it. And the company was like, nope, we're just going to turn it off. Enjoy your day. Within their rights. So anyway, if you look into it, that is about the same time that the true shit, because let's be honest, the police and Central Firearms Registry has always been a bit of a mess. But you'll see that that is the time when things truly took a turn for the worse. And yeah. So what they want to do is they want to pass a bill that means that any intellectual property created in South Africa belongs to the ANC. Which then means that that system created in South Africa now belongs to the ANC. So you will have no right to your mind. Because if you come up with something great in South Africa, it belongs to the ANC. So they want to take your mind. Now they're working on taking your guns. Oh, sorry, they started by taking your land. I don't know if any of us remember that. They were killing farmers and taking their land. Let's be honest, guys. Anyone who doesn't think the farm murders and land acquisition are linked, just take a look at the stories. And just by the way, the farm murders are happening to people of all races, all religions. And that's my biggest issue with this, is that this is not an attack on a specific race or a specific creed. This is an attack on every South African citizen. Every single one. Rich, poor, white, black, Muslim, it doesn't matter. They are slowly but surely taking rights from every South African citizen. And for me, like I say, I'm trying to not say things that are potentially illegal. The guns, my right to life, my right to self-protection, to self-defense, come take it. Come take it. Because if this bill passes, there will be a genocide. And it will not be a genocide of the people like the ANC is looking for. The people will rise up and we will take the ANC down. Because that is where this is leading. I am not the first person to mention it. I am not the first person to say this is where this is leading. But I'd really prefer if I weren't the last. Like, I'd prefer if I weren't the last person to say this before the S hits the F. Because we've got less than 4 years, guys. If the ANC does not win the next election, they're going to take it. If they don't make it not happen already. So for those of you who don't know, the ANC has tried to postpone the local elections that are supposed to be happening towards the end of this year. Why? Because they want to hold control 100% so that they can strip our rights away before the 2024 elections. I will be surprised if they don't put massive limitations on who can and can't vote before the next election. Because that to me is the next logical step for them. Make sure that the people who are going to vote against you are not allowed to vote. Guys, I try not to be a conspiracy theorist. I like to look into things very deeply before I try and make accusations of corruption or of negligence or of genocide. But I truly believe that the ANC, the current South African government, will cause a genocide in this country before 4 years are up. Now, what you can do is you can go down to the description below. I will put the link to the Dear South Africa page where you can have your say. I have had my say. I have asked everyone who I know who can have a say to have a say. Please, guys, speak up. Because if we don't use our voices now, we're going to have to use our guns tomorrow. And unfortunately, it's not guaranteed to end well for anyone. And it will absolutely not end well for the future of South Africa. Yeah. So down to the bill, like they're basically trying to, like I say, eliminate Section 13 and 14 of the firearms licensing. So they want to eliminate self-defense of any sorts. They want to limit the amount of firearms that can be owned for sport shooting or hunting, and the types of firearms that can be owned for sport shooting and hunting. Basically, you will only be allowed to own a firearm for sports purposes. It may only be used in a sports environment. You will be found criminally liable if you use said firearm for self-defense. In a country where the SAPS sells firearms to gangsters and kills thousands of people, including hundreds of children. They also want to eliminate reloading. you won't be allowed to reload ammunition. Obviously because they want it so that if they eliminate the firearms, you can't make your own bullets. So if you're in possession of any reloading equipment, you will be a criminal. If people do not see how blatant these laws are, we are screwed. It is already too late. I am pleading for anyone who watches this video to seriously think about what I've said. Think about the implications of these laws. You are not allowed to think. You are not allowed to defend yourself. You are not allowed to speak in this country. You are not allowed to have an opinion about another person without going to jail for it. Just look and think about what they are doing. They are taking our right to think, our right to speak, and now they are trying to take our right to defend ourselves so that when they decide to take our lives, it's that much easier for them. Think about it, guys. We outnumber the army and the police 10-1. Not only in people, I mean there we outnumber them 100-1, but in firepower. We, the private citizens, outgun power the police and military 10-1. And the South African government seeks to change that. Because when they come for your life, which they will, they already have, they don't want you to put up a fight. I hope you all wake up like I have. Like I hope that people can see where this is going. Because it's not going anywhere pretty. We either need to get rid of the South African government, the ANC, or they're going to get rid of us. All of us. Not whites, not blacks, not Indians. All of us. Every South African citizen. Rich, poor, it doesn't matter. We're all pretty much screwed.